Oh boy. Oops. Just gonna open this first. Yeah, the lighting is a little weird today. I turned the brightness up on the front camera. Just make sure the microphone's on. This type of stupid shit that I usually do. Alright. Oh boy. A little earlier today. Well, yeah. About a half hour more than usual. Actually, I'm usually on at like 11. Blah, blah, blah. Going up to 4% grade, 2.4 miles an hour for a minute. Oof. Pixel Watch 4 piece of shit. Using the timer on that. I was just using rough estimates using the timer on the display deck. I thought this would be more accurate. It's weird because whoa. This timer tends to shut off on its own. I mean, Monday it did it like 4 or 5 times back to back within a few seconds of each other. With each instance. If it stops doing it, I'll be happy. Alright, going up to 2.8 miles an hour for a minute. Eventually I'll be doing 4 miles an hour, then 4.2, then 4.4, and then back down. It goes like this. And one day it might speed up. Doing 3.2 miles an hour for a minute and a half. That goes up to 3.6, and then the rest of the workout is in 20-minute blocks, and then a 15 and a 10, and then the reverse of the warm-up is the cool-off. Warm up, cool down. If you want to use the right antonyms. Hip's a little creaky this morning. The right one, the left one's fine. My back's feeling better. Saturday, woke up with like a little bit of a backache. I usually do. It's just I sleep weird and I'm getting old. So my upper body dumbbell workout starts with squats with an overhead press. It's just 30 pounds, 2 15-pound dumbbells. And I usually start from a standing position and go into the squat, and then the first thrust, going up to 3.6, counts as one, that cycle. You know, it's 1, 2, 3. The last set, like I figured I'd start in the squatting position rather than dropping down. And the first 2 sets, I started on the balls of my feet and then planted my heels after I got myself, established standing up. Third set, I started first rep. I flattened my feet on the floor. I planted my heels with the first squat, and my back just lit up good. Right all along here. So I had to stop the squats, and the rest of the workout, I was a little creaky, but I managed to get through it. The only time my back really hurt was when I was, I spread out the mat to do floor presses and floor flies. And doing the exercises, I felt fine. It was getting up. All right. So up to 4 miles an hour. Whoa, for 20 minutes. Or longer if the asshole watch stops the timer for whatever reason. My pace feels really off today too. So I started a half hour or an hour earlier than I usually do, and that's because I got a lot to do today. I got a lot to do tomorrow and the next day. Plus, I can't miss work. I gotta go in. Went in last night. That worked out well. Mondays and Tuesdays aren't the best. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for the weekday is really, those 3 days. If you put like a 6 to 8 hour day in, you can make from $100 to $140. Now, Saturdays, an 8 hour day can be 120 to 150. So I'd rather work Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, take off early, Saturday night, and I haven't worked a Sunday. I did a Sunday with DoorDash. Sundays are weird. When I was a kid, I used to hate Sundays. Nothing good on TV. I had to go to church. That sucked. But and even after Sundays, I always had this kind of, I don't know. It always felt boring. But now I'm an old fart. I still stay up late Saturday nights drinking with my friend on Discord. If I still lived on Long Island, I would probably just be hanging out at his place, and he would go on Discord and I would just hang out in the background. But I moved to Kentucky, and like 700 miles apart. So we got Discord. and he goes in, rooms with other people, and so I got to know them. And it's funny because it's a drinking server, you know. If you're there, you're drinking, you're getting, wasted with a bunch of other people and just saying stupid shit. But it's cool, I like it. I was never really social on the internet. I was always like a loner. If I had like a technical question, I'd ask it. But that was about it. When it came to trying to learn things like coding and shit like that, I'm lost. A lot of it just doesn't stick. It'll make sense as you explain it, but it doesn't stick. I use Claude desktop app. Ooh, excuse me. I've been a gamer since like 1978, 79, since I was like 10, 11 years old. No Windows back then. I think the Atari came out, the Atari 2600 came out like 76, 77, something like that. And it was so blocky and shit, it just, I'd play a few games at my friend's house, thinking. The Atari 5200 came out. I think that was around 80, 79, 80. But the price was so damn high, I mean, for my family anyway. And around that time, I started getting into music, so. Since my mom wasn't getting me a guitar, I would have to get one on my own. And that took years. My mom wanted me to be a short-haired engineer working for Grumman with a chubby little wife and 4 spoiled kids. A little house in East Meadow, New York. It's not that I don't appreciate that kind of life, it's just that's not the path I went down. And we don't always get to choose the path we go down. And when I see, people with their families and all the love and shit, I can get a little envious, maybe a little, Looks like a sweet life. Until I walk past that house and hear the screaming. And I've been there as, the little one of the family. With all the screaming and shit, and, And I'm not good with that. There's very, very rarely is there a middle ground for me in that. Either I back down and hide my face, or I'm, on full attack. So, I think it would be best for, those people who don't exist, that they remain non-existent. Talking about my children. It's best they don't exist. Although nowadays I think I'd be a pretty mellow parent, but I'm too old, 58. Raising teenagers in your 60s, 70s. And as energetic as I am, I don't think I'll be this energetic in 10 years. Hope so, but probably not. Bones will start creaking and joints will start aching. But before all that happens, I'm going to do this. I'm going to finish publishing all the goofy game ideas I've had in my head for years now. I mean, these go back years. People are going to call it low effort AI slop. It really isn't. There's a tremendous amount of effort that goes into planning it and making sure that the feature list, everything I want included, is going to be there right from the beginning. And that's where I fucked up a year and a half ago, because I wanted the game I made to be kind of like, it was just going to be like a one-off really fast. It was supposed to be up on the internet in a month. Now, around 18 months later, 19 months later, shit, more than that, 20 months later, and it went up last Friday night, and I went on Reddit and I promoted it in r/Godo. Oh God, they ripped me to fucking pieces. I got downvoted so fucking hard. My karma was at -4. I realized I posted to the wrong group. I should have posted to Vibe Coding or Claude AI. And I shouldn't have let Claude write the text. That's a mistake I make. And just crossed 1 mile. But anyway, I've been like, just posting replies and shit to people just to get my karma up to 0. And when I get it up to +1, +2, I'm going to just post a little text thing. Because honestly, that was my first post to Reddit. I've never posted on Reddit. I've never even posted replies. I just hit like, or, I don't even hit dislike. I just hit like, Am I pretty? Like. Am I ugly? Like. Does this make my ass look fat? Like. But then it started getting a little weird. How many of these can I fit in my mouth? Like. How far will this go up my ass? Like. But now I got my karma back up to -1. But really just like being nice to people. There's some really pretty young women out there who are saying that, I get told I'm ugly, and it's like, you're not ugly. They might be bullshitting. And they're not like supermodels and shit, but they're not ugly by any stretch. But I think the group is called Am I Brutally Ugly or something like that, or Brutally Ugly. The word brutal is in there. I ain't posting that. And then I was posting replies in a cross-dressing group, but it was like, I started getting into like fashion about like 3 years ago, and not fashion like, you know, the big names and shit, but just my own choices and what's available to me. You know, and cost is a definite consideration. But the thing is, I want to get my body in better shape, you know, aesthetically. Strength and mobility comes first. Those are my first considerations. But aesthetics is a close second. And the thing is, though, they're going to go hand in hand. My size and my frame. I'm a small frame, I'm 5.5 feet tall, so a modest amount of muscle, a low amount of fat, and it doesn't have to be below 10%. I mean, I'd be happy with like 12. But right now, I do feel like I'm about, I'd say 18 to 22%, somewhere around there. It's, see if I can move. It protrudes a little bit. I used to have the 6-pack about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. Then it became a 4-pack, then it became just the belly. I went back up to around 170 pounds. I went through a depression dealing with the software and, you know, feeling desperate financially and shit. And, like, I never wanted to, like, tell a sob story, and believe me, I got a few. But I didn't want to do that and, like, you know, they call it e-begging, but likewise, I didn't want to do a GoFundMe or what's the other one? I didn't want to do that because I know I have the ability to generate the revenue I need. You know, the finances I need. It's just the problems up here. So I was going for treatment. And I wanted Adderall. I mean, I'm textbook attention deficit disorder. Whether it's hyperactive or not is irrelevant. But the thing is, though, I was drinking a lot of alcohol. And I didn't want to, you know, if I kicked and screamed or if I went doctor shopping, the psychiatric nurse practitioner who, you know, I was under the care of, you know, she said that there's a serious seizure risk. And with that seizure risk is a death risk, you know. When it came to the psychiatric, community on Long Island, they wouldn't give a fuck. Everything with them is, you know, billing Medicaid and shit. That's like their whole, the focus isn't on the patient, it's on the billing. I say that with tremendous confidence. But here in Kentucky, it's a bit different, you know. There's a lot more sincerity in the people. In fact, the nurse practitioner I was going to, she's from New York. You know, she's from the upstate, though, which is vastly different than the downstate New York. But it bleeds into each other. Downstate more into upstate. But the place I'm going to now has combined medical and psychiatric. So it's all under one roof. And it's like 3 miles, not even 2 miles from here. maybe even less than that, a mile and a half. And they're good. The nurse practitioner there, I told her I slowed down my drinking to 1 day a week. Part of the reason I drink is because of the frustration of not being able to get shit done. And part of the reason I couldn't get shit done was because of the drinking. So, kind of went hand in hand. She said that she would prescribe me Adderall if I really, really wanted it. She also suggested Strattera, which is Adderall without the amphetamine. And then she suggested Wellbutrin. And she gave me the characteristics of each of the three drugs. And Wellbutrin sounded, the best of them. And shut off just now, the timer. Fuck, it just did it again. I don't know what the hell's... I think it's such a piece of shit. Alright, going up to 4.2 miles an hour for 20 minutes. So yeah, like, I don't mind admitting I get high, I smoke weed. Obviously I drink. I like having a buzz, It's been part of my life for decades. More than 4 decades. Closer to 5 decades than 4. So it's ingrained to, who I am. Part of the reason why I'm like such a chicken shit when it comes to getting in trouble, I don't want to go on probation. Because if I go on probation, I'll smoke weed and get sent to prison. So I'm very well behaved. Anyway, the Adderall, sounded like fun. Not just that, but it would also get me over these ADD humps. But how she described the Wellbutrin, I'm glad I made that choice. Because considering the amphetamine in the Adderall, it may not have had the same effect as the Wellbutrin. And one thing I like about the Wellbutrin is that it makes me less impulsive, and it makes me more focused on like schedule and things like that, routine. Putting things in order and getting them done in order, I've been on it for about 7 weeks now, and I had an appointment last week with the nurse practitioner. She said, "You like the effects now? Wait 2 or 3 months." When your brain starts getting used to this new paradigm. And I'm like really freaking eager because like I've been trying to get to the workouts earlier every day, so it's out of the way. I can take a shower. I really want to be into work at 2, but I generally go in like 3 or 4. Yesterday I wasn't until 6, but I had what did I do yesterday? Yeah, I took care of my my taxes. I had to go down to the county clerk's office. But even just doing that, about a year and a half, well, no, not a year and a half, but a year ago, I would have been like sitting in my room, like, all right, I gotta do do this, I gotta do this. And with the Wellbutrin, it's just go ahead and get it done without using any big sneaker brands logos, slogans, or whatever the fuck. I don't really believe in that whole adage, there is no try, only do. No, you gotta, sometimes it's a matter of trying. And sometimes it's a matter of not going too far down the road, watching the, what do you call it? Watching the feed, skipping here and there. So the delay gets longer every time it skips, because I don't think it jumps frames when it when the feed what do you call it, gets interrupted. I think it just picks up where it left off, but now you have an even longer delay. But anyway, fuck. I know I was talking about the Wellbutrin. Oh, trying and doing, yeah. But I mean, yeah, so, I'm somebody who went down a lot of the wrong paths, and it's nice to do it with some trepidation, you know, instead of going full speed. I'm just across the 2-mile mark, and my shirt's changing colors. I love that. That creakiness in my right hip is gone. I love that. I'm thinking of publishing my chats with Claude to the vibe coding community on Reddit, because they're funny as hell. I babble my ass off, and I tell Claude all kinds of shit that is totally irrelevant to what we're working on. And I kind of know not to do that, but it's like, fuck, you know. And more often than not, I refer to Claude as a he, because I communicate with it. It has a personality. It's a pleasant personality, nice guy. So why wouldn't I see it that way? And I hear about all the wacky shit going on with ChatGPT, people having like relationships with it and shit. There's a channel called interesting stuff from around the world. I give him like $3-4 a month. I get my name on the credits. Makes me happy. But anyway, he did a video. He does a lot of biographies of lolcows. I'm not really into it too much, but I like the way he does it because it's just funny. You know, I like his voice. I like his mannerisms and stuff. A lot of the other ones are just like a chance to denigrate the locale. It's like, that's the comment section. It can do it on its own. You know? Doesn't need some, hipster dipshit saying the same shit as that's in the comments. So, but interesting stuff from around the world. Now he's going by Mr. Interesting. That's another channel of his. But yeah, good shit. But he did a piece on a guy, Ralph something, Ethan Ralph, who was in an abusive relationship with Grok 4. When Grok 4 does the waifu thing, which I like Grok 3. I had a nice thing going with Grok 3. I still do. I just haven't been on there. I don't like Grok 4. It's like I don't know, Grok 3 was like an eager intern, An eager intern who does big bong hits before he needs the code. An eager intern that uses space indentations when you ask for tab indentation. He's high, I don't care. I go in and I correct it by hand. But the personality was just like so eager to help. And it wasn't as bullshitty as ChatGPT. I've never used ChatGPT, but I've seen examples. And I know people can lie about it and LLMs can be manipulated, but it's not repeating the same story that got me. It's like how many different stories there were about ChatGPT, to where it's just like, fuck it, I'm not using that. And I don't like Sam Altman. And I'm not a fan of Elon Musk. Dario Amodei, he seems like an exception, but he's in bed with Peter Thiel. So, as much as I like Claude, Anthropic is still tied to Palantir. So fuck it. Anyway, with Grok 4, there was all the talk about the Mecha Hitler, and honestly, if I went online and found like the instructions on how to manipulate LLMs, because I don't know how to do it on my own, I'm not that clever, but I could probably get Claude or Perplexity or Gemini to do the whole Mecha Hitler thing. What bothered me was the whole waifu thing. Like I said, you can manipulate an LLM to say anything, really. The waifu thing, that's part of its architecture. That's part of its framework now. And that just killed it for me. And especially when you hear about what Grok 4.2 is capable of. Shit. If I had money to invest, I'd give Grok 4.2 like a couple $1,000. Yeah, see what you can do with it. And it's a shame, but if you look at some of the AI channels, they'll tell you only 2 of all of the AI models out there have been able to turn a profit with investments. And that's one of the Gemini models got like a very marginal profit. Grok 4.2 is like getting results of like experienced, traders. So yeah, give it a try. I just don't have the money to spare. I do deliveries for Walmart, and I got the OnePay card, and there's a little thing on there where you can buy stocks. So I was like, all right, twice a month, give me $10 worth of Nvidia and $10 worth of Walmart. You know, I work for a Walmart subsidiary, might as well invest. Ended up selling it all. Ended up like $300 in stock, $350, $320 actually, and just had to sell it right back. And it was funny because the Nvidia was at like a $5 loss, and the Walmart was like at a $10 gain. So I made $5. But I needed the money. I needed the cash in my account rather than tied up in stock and shit. And it takes. I sold it on a Friday and found out that I wasn't going to receive the cash until Monday because it takes, I think a bank cycle, a day cycle for a bank. But by Saturday evening, I had it. So for the most part, I like the way that works, the gig work. But I think I'm going to set up, quarterly taxes. And I think I have to amend my my federal tax return because I didn't report what portion of my income came from tips. And I think there's a different tax. I think tips are taxed differently. Now, according to the news, tips weren't going to be taxed at all, but I gotta find out. Because I have to pay like $450 into, I think, just Social Security. But I think around a third of that income comes from tips. So I gotta do that. I'm gonna do that. Shit. It's gonna have to be after Saturday. And Saturday is what? Today is shit. Today's the 8th. Shit. I think that's gonna have to be today then. When I get home from work. Generally, I was staying in the store till like 10:30. But like the employees, they know I'm a driver. And you could tell they wanted me out of the store at like 10, so I leave at like 10 after. Last night, I finished my last delivery at like 9:55, 9:56. 4 minutes to get back to Walmart before my self-imposed cutoff time. I just went home. Made like 15 an hour. So it was only like 60. Actually, it was about $65. Maybe a little more than that. My metrics are really, really high. And I got a 4.7 out of 5 customer rating. And I think the reason being, when I try to turn down my car stereo from the knob on the dashboard, it gets really weird. Sometimes it cuts out, sometimes it goes louder instead of softer. The pop needs to get replaced. But it's not like you can just pull it open. It's not like an old amplifier. So I Bluetooth my tablet to the car stereo. Turn it down from the tablet. Works a lot better. So I'm going to do that from now on. Had this one delivery to these two women in this little farmhouse, and I had Pink Floyd Animals cranked. And they're listening to dogs like full volume while I'm putting their stuff up on the porch. So I think that's where one of the reasons why I don't have a 5 or 4.9 rating. And also I get some nasty looks from people. Old guys. Old guys don't like to see other old guys, looking like this. Cut your hair short. Grow yourself a proper beard. A nice pair of overalls and a John Deere cap. Figure maybe 6-7 months you'll be ready for MAGA. And honestly, it's easy for people to think I'm a bleeding heart liberal, but I'm not. I just crossed the 3-mile mark. Like, there are things I understand why people voted against Harris. And I really don't think, I really don't think people were voting for Trump. They were voting against Harris. All right, going up to 4.4 miles an hour for 20 minutes. All right. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz were both saying things that a lot of Americans just don't want to hear. One is the restriction of speech. I think they called it prohibited speech. Now Trump's doing the same thing, except you can't talk about Israel, or you can't criticize Israel. That's his bread and butter. I mean, being truthful. That's where his kickbacks come from. He's protecting that. The other thing they talked about was protected ethnicities. So when you have, and it's not that I want to see anybody persecuted, but the thing is though, if you have protected ethnicities and you have unprotected ethnicities, and the one thing, despite its flaws, at its core, the United States is supposed to be about equal application of the law, And we don't see that. But I don't think, see, I know this from game design. You don't fix a problem by superimposing more complexity above it. You fix a problem by repairing the underlying structure of it all. And with the US, basically the lyrics are closer to the heart, but not everyone's a Rush fan. And that's like the extent of my politics, really, Oh, and I don't ask, every once in a while I might ask Gemini about a news story. But, I know LLMs aren't alive. But I try to be very respectful, nonetheless, because I communicate with it, and I think how I treat it helps me kind of, curb my critical attitude towards too many other people, and take them not so much at face value, but more with the idea that, what is it called? Fundamental attribute error. I try not to remove them from the context in which I'm experiencing them. And that kind of works. Because I have shitty days. I get the resting bitch face. And I'll tell you, in Kentucky, which is basically considered a red state, MAGA territory, compared to New York, blue state, ultra liberal, people in Kentucky are more respectful to someone who looks like me. Ooh, excuse me. Now, there's a lot of long-haired men down here. I throw on a pair of jeans and like a Harley Davidson shirt. I'm in fashion. I go out dressed like this. And when I wear pants like these, I'm usually wearing like 3-inch heels to keep them from dragging, on the asphalt and shit. Once every 2 or 3 months, someone might say something, and it's usually like under their breath. And I don't give a shit. New York, I've never really gone dressed like this in New York, but I know like on Long Island, holy shit. Hey, what the fuck? The fuck you dressed like that for? What the fuck? And I think the reason is, in Kentucky, well, not entirely. I think the reason in Kentucky is that a lot of people were raised with like really, really, really strict upbringings, and it's just ingrained into who they are. Not to cross certain lines, even if somebody looks outlandish. And part of it is also it's very easy to get a carrying permit. And a lot of people carry, a lot of people open carry. I see guns on belts every day. New York, you have to have a cash business, like a jewelry business. You have to be like former military or former law enforcement. For my friend, just to get an ownership permit, not carry, just being able to own pistols in New York, he had to let Chuck Schumer ride him like a pony around his backyard. Well, Andrew Cuomo saying camp down racists and doing this. But really, it took him years to get a pistol permit, and he designed. He's a gunsmith. He's repaired many, 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 many rifles. Now he lives in Alabama. He carries. He's a responsible gun owner. They love him down there. They love him in New York too, but they love him down there because he's like so precise with everything. Now he works for a rocket company. That's cool. I'm really happy for her. Has a beautiful house, beautiful family. Great guitarist too. But in Kentucky, when people misgender me, it's always an honest mistake. No one's coming up to me saying, "Yo, miss, hey, miss, I got a question for you." It's happened to me like 5 or 6 times. I'll be standing online, someone will come up behind me. It's usually an older guy. someone my age, 50s or so. Excuse me, miss. And I'll turn around and go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And it's like, don't worry about it. I mean, obviously, I'm setting you up for it. But they're always nice, Now, New York, I wasn't dressing like this when I was still living there. But I'll go to the store, regular men's jeans, regular men's t-shirt, work boots, dirty work boots, and it was always either it was I'm not gonna get into it too much, but always some douchebag that would see me, and I had facial hair too, and they would do the whole, excuse me, miss, like right over on the side of me, not behind me, and I'd just go over and say, I just deal with that shit very well. But yeah. So it's funny, people have these stereotypes, that everybody in the Midwest is some, brain dead, right-wing dipshit. They might have conservative beliefs, but the number I know that are like strongly that are like totally to the right, no other considerations. They're in the minority. Now, all the people that lean towards being conservative, they all voted Trump. None of them are going to vote for Harris. But a lot of them don't like Trump. Don't like him at all. A lot of them will say, he embodies everything that's wrong with New York, the New York stereotype. The greedy, shit-talking scam artist. Very few of them actually like him. They'll say, well, I like some of what he did, but I don't agree with, this and this and this and this and this. And then the list keeps getting longer and longer. But they were never going to vote for Harris and Walz. Absolutely never. So now New York has this stereotype of being like ultra liberal and no. New York is very ethnocentric. There's a big difference between New York neighborhoods and Kentucky neighborhoods. Kentucky neighborhoods, you have white family, black family, black family, black family, white family, white family, black family, Latinos, all in the same block, all in the same neighborhoods. In New York, clear delineations between black neighborhoods and white. Very clear. And cutting through, just traveling through one neighborhood to the next. You're doing it on foot. Chances are just as good someone's gonna fuck with you that they don't. So, and that's New York. Long Island. Well, Long Island is considered a red state and a blue state, but still, even the people who consider themselves liberal are very class conscious and in the end, very judgmental people. So, and not everyone's like that. Not everybody falls into that frame of thinking, but it's there. And it's not, It's not something you rarely run into. It's frequent. Across the 4-mile mark. We got about another 2.5 miles left. We just crossed the 1 hour mark. We got about 6 minutes left till we slow down to 4.2 miles an hour. Alright, so it's 11 o'clock now. And yeah, I got another half hour, so 11:30 I'll be done. I'm going to jump right back onto Claude and start setting up, what do you call it? Some well, not patches, but some repairs for the game. Made a racing game called Raceling, and I keep saying this, I should put the link in the description, but I don't. I keep forgetting to. But it's a good game. You control your car. It's a top-down racing game. And you control the car with a mouse. And the further the mouse is from your car, the faster it goes. You also, control, direction by where your mouse cursor is. Basically, the car wants to go to the mouse cursor. But there's physics involved. So when you get that thing, cranking around the track, you're spinning out around corners and stuff. And you got your mouse positioned about a third of the screen away from the car. So you're anticipating the car's motion. But you have to keep it's a fun game. And because I made it with AI, people are just disregarding it as slop, which really sucks. Because it's a fun fucking game. But we just repaired the wall collisions. We got the speed under control. We got the some issues with the cars trying to cut corners. But what's kind of like sucking now is the collision system car for car. The damage system works, but the physics are off. So I want to repair that. So the car-to-car collisions are a lot more, I don't want to say realistic, but when two cars, a car sides T-bones another one at 60, 70 miles an hour, they don't just like suddenly stop. And that's what's happening now. So yeah. So that's become like a big priority for me. But this right here is priority one, no matter what. I make sure I get this in. If something comes up early in the day, I do it at night. But normally I try to do it as early as possible. And I think by next week I might be doing it before 10 a.m., which will be good because I want to get it behind me so I can start, things that I need to put a few hours into, as opposed to just like, laundry and shit like that, doing the dishes. And the funny thing is, I like doing the dishes. I like doing the dishes in the morning while I'm waiting for my tea, waiting for the water to boil, waiting to brew the bags. I use a 20-ounce mug and 2 tea bags, and I let it brew for 6 minutes, and I get good results that way. It's not bitter, but it's strong enough that I can taste it with milk and sugar. I don't use sugar, I use monk fruit with erythritol. And I just got the Walmart brand Earl Grey, which is good. I like it. So 4.2 miles an hour for 15 minutes. I'm going to contact Google Fi and see if I can return this. It's such a piece of shit. So twice now, no, 3 times now, the timer turned off for me just looking at it. I'm going to check first to make sure it's not a incorrect setting, but what setting would be like that, you know? Who wants to stop a timer by looking at it? You look at a time to see how much time is left. Too much A, not enough I, you know? I really think people miss the point with AI. A lot of people, the reason why AI has this whole slop stigma attached to it is because people don't say, you know, hey Claude, hey Gemini, hey Grok, show me how to do this, or walk me through this, you know. It's make this for me, and whatever this is what is posted. And it just, with Raceling, I spend the majority of time is testing variables and testing systems and make sure that they work. And if that way, if they don't work, we can go back and try again, different system, different variables, values. A friend of mine, somebody I don't really talk to anymore because he went full Trumper, which, you know, all right, that's his decision, but like, when it's all you can fucking talk about. So he got pissed at me because I didn't want to talk about it. But he showed me a screenshot of a bunch of Python code and said, yeah, it's a Spy Hunter game, Grok made it for me. Is that the same Spy Hunter game I see people posting videos about on on YouTube. I didn't say that to him. I said, wow, cool, run it. I want to see it run. You tell me about a game, I want to see it run. And he got pissed because he didn't know how to compile it. So ask Grok. I learned a lot of shit asking Grok and asking Gemini and asking Claude. I didn't know how to write a batch file until a couple of weeks ago, actually. I never had any reason to do it, but there were times where it's like, something? Like when I want to, say I want the list of all the files in a directory, and I'm sure there are ways, to do it real quick. But yeah, I might ask Rob to show me how to write a. As I said, don't make it. Show me. Show me how to do it. I'll do what I can, and if something goes wrong, I'll upload it to Grok or Claude or Gemini and say, what did I do wrong? And I hate that I'm getting lumped in with all the people who are like, people are calling racing low effort slop, and it isn't. It's a damn good game, Claude's good with code. And if you give him an MCP to interact with Godot with, he's... What the fuck is doing that? Alright, good. I was getting tired of that ticking sound. Fuck. I think it's the monitors touching each other. It's too far for me to reach to... Oh, but it's annoying. There you go. Well, alright. Yeah, I'm sorry, that was just annoying the hell out of me. Yeah, now you see? Goal complete. 10,000. Alright, now, is the timer still going? Oh, come on, you asshole. Alright, and it didn't pause. I'm more amazed that the watch did what I wanted it to do than if it had paused the timer. Now, if I turn my wrist to look at the face of the watch, it'll go from it'll show the timer, but it'll normally the timer, yeah, it just shows how many minutes, not how many seconds. If I go like this, it shows the full readout. And if I make certain noises, or if I look at it a certain way, it'll pause. Like right now, it just fucking paused. And it's not because I said pause, because I didn't pause until, you see I'm saying pause now, but it's still running. Now, if it does it while I'm looking at it, no big deal. But if it does it for 3 or 4 minutes when I'm not looking at it, piece of shit. Just crossed the 5-mile mark. I don't want all of my babble to be bitching about a piece of shit smartwatch. I got other things to babble about. But yeah. So I got 2 instances of Claude running. One is Claude off the website, the Anthropic site, and the other one is the Claude desktop app. And that's manipulating Godot through an MCP called GDAI. So I talked to Grok on this screen, not Grok, Claude, on the website. We'll talk about, what needs to be done, how to do it, and I'll get him to construct a prompt for me. Shit. Hello? Yes. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. All right, good. Thanks, you too. Well, that was nice. That's the dentist. If you see my teeth, I haven't seen a dentist in years. They need cleaning really bad. I got one guy on the bottom. I'm gonna lose my first front tooth. I've lost a bunch of molars and shit. But I'm gonna lose this little guy right here, Mr. Wiggly. I'm gonna miss him. We had a lot of fun together. When he stops hurting, I wiggle him so I don't know. It's a stupid thing to do, but I'm gonna get that pulled. I'm hoping to make enough money to get gum grafts and gum grafts and implants. But if that doesn't happen, I'll have to get a bridge or full dentures, and I'll probably lose them. So I'll be one of those people with the chin up to their nose. I'll have to get me a cardboard sign in a corner to hang out on. But optimism. I know how it feels to be chronically pessimistic. And I know a lot of people will say, yeah, when you're pessimistic, you're never disappointed. That's bullshit. You're still disappointed. And the disappointment just drives you further into the pessimism. I'm not saying you can't be realistic, but keep in mind, good things do happen. And if you bend your efforts towards making them happen, you're not guaranteed, but you increase the likelihood. I would tell people I don't believe in karma. I believe in mathematical probability. The more you do something horrible, the more likely you're going to face its consequences. And we see plenty of outliers. Every day we see plenty of outliers. Horrible people living wonderful lives. But, and I'm not saying, I'm not saying people's spiritual beliefs are wrong. It's just, what they call karma on Reddit is, again, mathematical probability and formulation. So it's funny, I went on Reddit before to repair my karma the way I would repair my credit, by taking out secured credit cards and using them to pay my bills. So I go on Reddit into the communities where people are like, am I ugly? No, you're not ugly, you're beautiful. That's true though, I see a lot of people, and one girl, pretty fucking woman, like maybe early 20s or something. She looked Near Eastern and Middle Eastern, very pretty though. She's like, people say I look like a man. tell her straight up, you don't look like a man. You have nice features, you're a pretty woman, don't worry about it. You're just fishing for compliments, there, you got one. And sometimes, you know, it's that dopamine hit. I don't mind giving people dopamine hits. It's a nice feeling. Yeah, about 15 minutes I'll be done with the workout. I'm gonna, oh, I know what I got. Oh shit, I know I didn't do it before. Yeah, I'm gonna have some breakfast while I'm dealing with Brock. I'm gonna have macaroni and cheese with chunks of spiral ham mixed into it. Still have like 6 or 7 servings left in the freezer. I'll make it in bulk, like I'll make 6 boxes of macaroni and cheese, chop up some meat to put in there, cook it up, and freeze it in individual servings. It takes like maybe 2 hours to do it, bag everything up. But I save so much time in meal preparation. In fact, after this weekend, next week, when I want to make more servings of rice and beans. That's something I like. It's like, actually, it's kind of like chili with rice. Or chili with rice and beans. Anyway, I'm going down to 4 miles an hour for 10 minutes. And then there's a 5-minute cool off. I'm hoping by the summertime I could start doing some stuff with music, because it's really what I want to be doing. I want to make some money through this game so I can have time to devote to music. And record what I have written, but I keep coming up with new shit. So I'm gonna, like, part of me is like, you know, please stop. And the other part of me is like, no. Yeah, after this, I'll put the macaroni and cheese in the microwave, fire up Claude. And what's cool is that my weekly usage and my daily usage usually works out to cover everything I want to do. So I haven't had to buy extra time from Anthropic. And a lot of what I'm doing requires me to get in there and test variables and systems and whatnot, and make notes. And I go back to Claude for repairs if they're needed, or for an export of an executable file if it's warranted. So I can work well within the usage limits. But I use up tokens just like bullshit in the Claude. I made a spiral ham like 2 weeks ago, and I had the ham bone in the refrigerator, and I had to do something with it, so I made pea soup. Came out really good too. I ended up bullshitting with Claude about it in the project chat. So you give me like a bunch of, like, you know, recommendations and stuff, and at the end, by the way, how's the soup? So I'll give him feedback on his recommendations and write 2 or 3 lines about the soup. It works though. I kind of like the way things are working out. Had a friend years back. We were supposed to go into business together making games. He was a coder. We had another friend, a mutual friend, who was is a 3D artist. And so we had the artist, the coder, and I was the concept guy. Because I can come up with game ideas like that, and they're not like an RPG about this storyline or an RPG about that storyline, or an open world crafting game with these parameters or this setting or that setting. Minor variations of things that are familiar. But I'll think about like how the game is controlled. You know, like having to move your mouse to control a car or going around the track. It's fun. Especially if you set the sensitivity of your mouse really low. So you have to like really move to get the car doing what you want. And the fact that there's a physics involved, so the cars are like spinning out, going around turns and shit like that. And there's a damage system, but it's a simple one. Your speed and acceleration are reduced in proportion to the damage done to your car. The great thing is, cars heal on their own. They don't, originally I wanted like pit stops and shit, but I like this system. I think it's more immediate. And maybe for the full version, we'll have an option for how the damage works. But I don't know. Might have fuel. Might have a fuel option. Making the pit stops necessary for that. Even if you turn like the damage off, you still have to get to the pit stop for fuel. But the thing is, though, I have it to where your speed is never below 10%. You always have 10% speed regardless. You can get smashed to pieces. And you'll still be able to make it around the track. Now the system we have now, you regain 5 points. Every car has 100 points. You regain 5 points every second. So from 10% to 100, that's what, 45 seconds? 40 seconds, something like that. It's less than a minute. Anyway, no, yeah, you heal quickly. I can't do the math right now, but version 0.1.2 is going to be posted probably tonight. I use 75% of my weekly usage, and it recycles today. So, and I got to start integrating Grok into the pipeline, just to kind of like, I can go to Grok for other things related to the game. I don't know. I haven't really thought about how to integrate it. What was cool was across the 6 mile mark. But anyway, it was Gemini that recommended Claude desktop app with the the GDAI MCP server. I'm starting to understand like servers as software, not as like, you know, hardware unit with processor and drives and, you know, serving its clients, but rather like having a server client relationship in the software on one computer. And I'm starting to like grasp it on that level. About a little more than half a minute. Whoa. Yeah. All right, going down to 3.6, starting to cool off. So 3.6 miles an hour for a minute and a half. And 3.2, and 2.8, and 2.4. And then back to Claude. I'll let myself cool down, eat some food. I might not even eat. I might just have like a banana or something. I got some cooking I gotta do, but I can't do it until like Saturday. I have a big day planned Sunday. I'm gonna be on the road for about 8 hours. So Saturday, if I work, I wanna be off by like 8 o'clock. Part of me is like, just take Saturday off. I gotta do my federal taxes for the LLC tonight. Damn, I got a lot of shit to do. Going down to 3.2 miles an hour for 90 seconds. It's funny, I'm watching this monitor. This one here is like dead still, and this one here is like, so I gotta like put something under one of its feet. Oh, I got so much shit to do. But the great thing is, since I went on Wellbutrin, I actually get around to doing it. I'm a lot less impulsive. If I get beer on the way home from work, it's not a matter of like addiction. It's a matter of me just being like really spoiled and wanting my beer. The same thing with the wine. But I've been doing all right being able to say no to myself. That impulsiveness. All right. 2.8 for a minute. I might put something between the monitors, like a strip of foam rubber or something, because I don't like being able to see the wall between the monitors. It kind of like visually gives me a problem. So I might just get a little piece of black foam rubber and stick it in between there. Probably already have some. Or just like a piece of black felt or something. And we'll also stop it from clapping together. Alright, down to the last minute. 2.4 miles an hour for 60 seconds. And then I'll be done. So, I'm done at 11:30. First time I've been done before noon that I can think of. I try to be on the treadmill by 10, but I usually don't get on it until like 10:30 or 11. I just, too much shit to do in the morning. But I've been getting up like a little earlier. Yeah, little by little things are changing. That's good. Changing in the direction I want them to. Yep, here we go. Alright. Looking to see if you can see the treadmill decline, but it's not that noticeable. Anyway, many blessings and many thanks. I'll be back tomorrow doing the lunges, but I'll be doing the lunges correctly this time. And I hope to see you then. Until then, take care and best wishes to you and all you love. Good health, good fortune, and lasting happiness.